In this video, let's take a look at parallel processing of jobs within Docusign CLM. So here we are starting in our Salesforce environment. Our prior videos cover all of this. And we can see we got a cute little game here to play while we get the progress bar to come over. And the level of difficulty gets a little bit more. Oops, I got nailed there. All right, so yeah. So that's the game, and we are now going to finish up with our generation. Also, we know that the updates are happening back on the Salesforce side. So we'll see that the information's already written back. 49 seconds there, generally 30 seconds, but a little bit later. So now we've landed on our generated agreement. We're going to send it promptly to external review. It's going to come back. There's going to be red lines. We're going to send it for legal. So that's the focus here, to say that this paper had some red lines added to it. That's what we're trying to have legal take a review. So requester is done at this point. Okay, the job is here with legal. So legal is going to open it up. And what they're going to do is realize, okay, there are a couple of sections here that have changed, and I still want to work on this paper, but I want to start a legal service request. So there are two different ways that legal could do this. One is with this hyperlink approach, and another we'll start with is from our tasks dropdown. So here we're going to submit a legal request. Now, this is the in parallel concept. The job never leaves legal. But what legal can do is it can pick a different group to send this to. So let's say for purposes it'll be tax for this request. And it's our paper and need it in 2 weeks. And I'll get the section, if there is a tax section in here. Let's just say this applicable laws for taxes. All right, and we're not sure. We know they changed something, but we're not sure. Now, what else could we do here? Well, quite honestly, we could have the clause library be made available. So they could pick, legal, that is, could pick from the clauses that would be standard, and then basically the tax team could see, hey, this is different. Something else you're noticing here, perhaps, is the select LLM. This will be built out in the very near future, where you will be able to chat with the document, and when WebMCP comes along, it will be able to fill in these actual fields for us. But for now, just to showcase how we can get this process started, this is one approach. So legal now is requesting the tax team to take a look at this section. So once this finishes kicking that off, we're redirected back to legal, and we see that legal still has the job. So legal has not given up the job. In the background now, the processes are running to create the legal service request that is going to tax. So let's click on our tasks for a second here, and let's see, we have a tax tasks that's been created, and there it is. So there's the LSR. But let's say we're still legal and we don't really have access to the task queue. So we'll go back to legal here. How can I check on the status of that? Where can I find that? Well, it's actually related now to the core agreement, the parent agreement, if you will. So as a legal user, I can always click here and look at this read-only copy that the tax team now has. Okay? And I can see that here's the request that I made, and here's what I sent. Now let's take it from the perspective of the tax team. So I'm the tax team, and I have a new entry in my queue, and I open it up. Now, emails and all the standard notifications, including you could do Slack and Teams here, are sent. So as tax opens it up, they see the original agreement. They see the active agreement. So if I start making changes in this, they could actually see those changes. So now I want to just switch over and I want to say, well, what is the LSR that they submitted here? Oh, okay. Focus on clause 13. Cool. So as the tax team, I can send it back to legal for additional questions, clarifications. I can end the workflow, and of course I can just cancel this and say, maybe this is totally fine with us, no worries. Probably still end the workflow in that regard, or other options could be provided. But what you see here is the ability to have two separate processes running at the same time. So let's go back to legal, and let's use the other approach. And this is just to show a compare and contrast of what the options could be. So here we're going to click this link now, and if you notice, we're still on the original agreement here. So that tab, it opened a new tab is what it did. And what it proceeded to do then is load the document, a rendered version of it, not perfectly matching. No, it's not perfectly matching, but it is the content of the agreement. Okay, again, I can pick now, this time I'll go with information security and similar types of requests. Maybe I give them a little more time. And for information security, it doesn't really matter here. I'm just playing around. Let's just do intellectual property is something we want to have reviewed. So we can just make a little note. And let them know that customers' changes happened. And we can just paste that in. All right, and maybe we'll just highlight what we think are the changes, or we know the changes. But here again, because the document can be seen, and in this instance, we're not linking exactly the way we did before. I'll show you that in a sec. But you can rapid fire here as many requests as you want in short order. So a little different approach, a little different approach, but sum and substance still an in parallel process. So that's another way that you could tackle kicking off a different, just a different approach or different whatever you want to do here. Now, what's the difference with this one? Well, at this time, the difference is really just you can rapid fire it, kicks it off in the background. Once legal's done, and of course, thinking about the LLMs in the future and WebMCP in the future, once legal's done, they can just close this tab. So you have two options here at this time. The key is we're building within the CLM. You're not stepping outside the CLM here. So you can do it via workflow. You can do it via a hyperlink. Now, if we refresh here, what we should see are those other two LSRs, and they are related, and here they are. So those are the two additional LSRs, and we can click on them, and in this case, this is the, let's see which one it is. Okay, this is the information security one, right? And if we were to go to tasks, we can look in the information security task queue, and there's the job that we were just on, right? So that's available to folks. Now, one thing you don't see here is the original document. That's not allowing us to switch. So with this approach, we're kind of keeping it very simple. And if they want to check the original document, if that's a better approach for them, well, there's the hyperlink that takes them right there. What's the benefit of this? Well, now you could look at the document in a side-by-side view if you wanted to, with the LSR because you could just take your tabs, split them. Maybe that's an easier way for folks to work. It really depends. But it gives people options, so that's a +1. Let's go back to the tasks and let's just see about our privacy one, just to make sure. And sure enough, there it is. So this is our privacy request that came through for the LSR, all in parallel. So we've got 4 workflows now running. We have the original workflow, we have the workflow for the tax, we have a workflow for privacy, and a workflow for information security. All right. And again, with this approach, you can always link back to the original document and compare and contrast and do what needs to be done. The key factor here is legal never loses control of the document for purposes of Docusign CLM. So this is an example of how you can have parallel processes running inside Docusign CLM, have the relationships back to the parent agreement, and depending on the option you choose, have some different functionality. Thanks.